Jonathan Taylor to the Buffalo Bills. Rich Eisen just suggested that we should consider trading James Cook to the Indianapolis Colts for Jonathan Taylor. What do you guys think? Welcome to my channel, Bills News Consolidated. We have to discuss this. The realistic possibility of Jonathan Taylor ending up a Buffalo Bill. We always know Brandon Beane does his due diligence. I'm sure he made his call to figure out what the trade is going to have to look like, what he would ultimately have to give up for this to happen. And I think the Bills would definitely have to trade away a running back on this team, whether it's a Latavius Murray, Damian Harris, or James Cook, and then probably some high draft picks for Jonathan Taylor. Now, the problem behind this is that Taylor only has 1 year left on his contract for this season. Brandon Beane has never traded for a player with only 1 year left on that contract. It literally opens up the door for that trade to hit free agency and go to a different team anyways. Similar to what happened with Von Miller going to the LA Rams and then signing with the Buffalo Bills. I'm sure LA tried to do everything they could to retain Von Miller, but he still chose a different team and went to the Buffalo Bills. So if the Bills do happen to trade away James Cook or any of these running backs, now I know we signed Murray and Damian Harris to 1 year deals. So I think that could make sense here that we trade away one of these 1 year deal running backs for Jonathan Taylor. So, I mean, you got to take a look at that. But I think if we trade away, say, a James Cook for a Jonathan Taylor, and then Jonathan Taylor ends up signing with a different team at the end of this upcoming season, that is going to be an awfully huge piece the Buffalo Bills will have to pick. I mean, James Cook, his ceiling is awfully high. I mean, just look at his brother, Delvin Cook. And I really think James Cook progressing in this scheme, learning one of the most complex offenses in the NFL, opening things up because he can also catch it and run it, a true modern type style running back in the NFL. And keep in mind, we lost Nyheim Hines. Like Nyheim Hines, James Cook, both that scat back type receiving running back. And now we're really down to just James Cook, Darrington Evans. Ty Johnson was just brought in too as well, who's kind of a receiving back. But it's just tough. It's really tough. Not to the caliber of Nyheim Hines, So this is going to be very interesting. Now, just going further why this could happen with Jonathan Taylor. We've had interest on players, bigger type style running backs here in Buffalo. Just look at the signing of Latavius Murray and Damian Harris. Clear signs that the Buffalo Bills wanted to get bigger at running back, even going back to Zach Moss being selected awfully high. Zach Moss was supposed to be that bowling ball, that beast mode back for Bills Mafia, and he just never rose to that occasion. Now, Damian Harris did recently injure his knee. He's a little bit banged up. Latavius Murray has been on fire. So that's really another reason why, Buffalo Bills, Latavius Murray this upcoming year, I mean, he's been here all training camp. He's been here in the preseason. Jonathan Taylor won't be able to learn this playbook until halfway through the season. By the end of the year, when the games are important, I think he should definitely be ready up to speed, Jonathan Taylor, if this happens. And then the other hurdle here is what we ultimately are giving up. We're going to give up, a first-round draft pick, a second-round draft pick in the future, and what can we ultimately get with that pick at that time when that time comes? And we see how good Brandon Beane is at drafting, developing players in small market Buffalo, something that we need to do here because we don't have the best weather, right? And we still need to win, but I think the Buffalo Bills really need to keen in on that. But I really am loving what the Buffalo Bills are trying to do. Derrick Henry was a person that we were looking at as well. There was, Brandon Beane was trying to get the interest between Derrick Henry. Keep in mind, Derrick Henry is a free agent at the end of this year. Jonathan Taylor is a free agent at the end of this year. So if we are interested in those players, and Damian Harris, Latavius Murray are still here only for 1 year, at the end of this upcoming season, if the Buffalo Bills feel as though that they need a running back upgrade still, then you go out and you get a Jonathan Taylor. Is James Cook going to really be that all-purpose style running back? Ken Dorsey even said that James Cook is a 3-down back, really worked on his pass blocking. this off season. So I really think this is going to be absolutely huge. So, the one point I always want to make is that Brandon Beane always does his due diligence. He always does his homework to get comparables for future trades if something presents himself. So I think trying to get a value on Jonathan Taylor is just homework for a GM. Like if a general manager isn't calling about Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in the NFL, they're just not doing their homework. They're not trying to understand values across this league. So, I think the other thing too is that there's other teams a lot more desperate for a running back right now. And Jim Irsay obviously didn't want to trade Jonathan Taylor. So I think Irsay is going to be willing to trade Taylor wherever he wants. He's not going to listen to Jonathan Taylor's wants and needs. Jim Irsay is going to take the best offer, and he doesn't care where he goes. Maybe he considers trading him to the NFC versus AFC. Like, why would you trade Jonathan Taylor to the Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, that would just be a freaking nightmare if he did that. So I think the Dallas Cowboys definitely make sense for Jim Irsay to be like, all right, go to Dallas. You lost Zeke. And I think that would work out with Tony Pollard. So that's definitely another possibility landing spot for Jonathan Taylor. But listening to Rich Eisen and what he had to say about the Buffalo Bills should consider trading James Cook for Jonathan Taylor and some draft picks for this 2023 season. That is very, very interesting thought. And I know a player like Jonathan Taylor would definitely help this offense, definitely take the load off Josh Allen. But, we just had Damian Harris brought in. Latavius Murray's been balling out all training camp. So I think maybe we settle, and we're always trying to get the best deal. Brandon Beane is always being frugal. He's always trying to get the most bang for his buck. What happens if Jonathan Taylor signs to a different team, really doesn't have a great season, as a lackluster season, hits free agency, and we can get a better deal on Jonathan Taylor? Or, Derrick Henry hitting free agency, competing with a Jonathan Taylor who's going to be in free agency as well. I think that's huge. That's huge. We can end up with Derrick Henry or Jonathan Taylor at the end of the season if Damian Harris and Latavius Murray don't work out or they don't want to re-sign with the Buffalo Bills. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like, subscribe, check the links down below. Buffalo Fan Shop is rocking out in between now and the first week of the season. You guys are getting free shipping on all merchandise on Buffalo Fan Shop, as well as $20 off any concerts, NFL, NHL, baseball games, $20 off SeatGeek. Just purchase your ticket at SeatGeek.com. Use promo code BNC and you will get $20 off. Appreciate you guys. Comment down below. Go Bills.